Man, you need to buy yourself a gun. What? Gun? What? Like a handgun. For personal protection. If somebody tries to mug you. What? What if your government tries to throw you in a can? What? You're gonna want a shotgun. Oh. What? One automatic rifle. And a lot of ammo. Gun? Yeah, gun.
We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They'll burn you out like a Waco. They'll stick your ass in a camp. Jack for the cops in riot gear, gonna kick your ass and laugh. The revolution is on its way. Better lock and load your AK. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. We're all set to riot. Buy a gun before you lose your Second Amendment. Buy a gun. They gave your money to the banksters. They stole your pension funds. It's time that we took to the streets. It's time we had our turn. A revolution is on its way, and the founding fathers would say, buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Buy a gun, 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 buy a gun before you wish you bought a gun. Revolution's not clean and neat, you gotta riot in the streets. Revolution's not clean and neat, you gotta drag them through the streets.
Ladies and gentlemen, Primer Time. My name is Michael.
Hey, and I'm Dan. How you doing, Michael?
Dan, not too bad. How you going?
I'm doing fine. We have Hal with us, and we also have a special guest tonight.
Al, what's going on with you?
Not a lot. How you guys doing?
Good to hear you. Good to hear you.
Doing great, great. Who's our guest tonight, Michael?
Dan, we've got Jason from South Texas Sling Bows on with us tonight. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, guys. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourselves?
Doing fine, Jason. How you doing?
Can't complain.
South Texas Sling Bows.
Well, welcome to Primer Time.
Yeah, welcum.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Explain a sling bow to us, please.
Well, I mean, it's your basic slingshot, model, but it's conformed to use full-length arrows, man, from a regular bow. Not much to change. You can shoot full-length arrows. I mean, it's one of the greatest things I think I've ever come up with, and it works great.
How long are the arrows that you shoot out of this thing?
I mean, they're just standard full-length bow arrows. I mean, there's no cutting them down. There's no adjusting them. Any arrow you can go and buy at Academy will shoot out of this. I mean, it doesn't have to be a specific length. So, I mean, anything you can go buy at Academy or any of these Cabela's or any of these guys will shoot through this sling bow.
So there's no modifications necessary. You just go buy some arrows. You buy say for example, some razor-edged arrows, hunting arrows.
Yeah,
those will shoot out of the slingshot. Is that correct?
Well, now there is one modification with my current model. I use a standard slingshot pouch on my bands. What you do is you just take the knockout of the arrow and replace it with a golf tee. I know that sounds really weird, but a wooden golf tee makes a great grip. They fit into most arrows perfectly, tight enough where you're not gonna, lose them when you shoot. So. Oh,
okay, interesting.
That's a fairly wicked idea. Now, Jason, I've seen this photos of this item, and it's pretty cool. I really have to say I'm really excited about it. You've also got a little more thought into this design. It's not just a sling bow that sort of like a slingshot, but a little bit bigger. It's actually designed to be taken down and portable.
I mean it's really simple. You remove one bolt and the whole thing can fit in your back pocket. I mean, it's that portable. You really remove one bolt, you keep a little socket head with you, and maybe a little tiny wrench, and you can take the whole thing down, or even a crescent wrench or something, and take it down.
So it's a folding apparatus, or like
it's not a.
Or
It's not really a folding. It's you remove a bolt and everything comes apart. So I mean it's real portable. The arms on my slingshot or my sling bow are a lot different than your standard arms for a regular slingshot. So I mean it's a little long, but still, if you were trying to get around and move around, it wouldn't be an issue.
So do you this thing? Does it have a guide for the arrow to rest on when you shoot?
Right now I'm using a Whisker Biscuit, but I'm in the process of coming up with my own guide design. The issue with it is you don't shoot it straight up and down like a regular slingshot, because in theory you don't get the actual you don't get the best view when you shoot it and you're pulling it flat in front of you. You turn it to the side, and you can see basically straight down the arrow, almost like a traditional bow.
Oh, okay. So you aim it like a slingshot, basically off of one end to the other, depending on the way you turn it.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Now, how heavy is the arrow that you're shooting?
The practice arrows that I've been shooting right now at targets are roughly 185 grains to 200 grains.
Okay, so
probably an ounce or two as far as actual physical weight.
How's that relate to our bullets there? What's that equivalent of when we talk about firearm bullets?
I would imagine a 45.
Yeah, 45 is a heavy bullet for its 230 grains. Then they got 200s and 180s, but they're going at like 950 feet per second too.
Yeah, which I'm not getting anywhere close to that right now, but
yeah, but they're not shooting razor blade either.
Well, this is true. They're shooting
quite true.
Solid lead. So
So this is a very good weapon, so to speak, for someone that can't own a firearm, or is a good prepper weapon, as a matter of fact.
I'd like to think that it's a great prepper weapon. It's easily portable. It's not heavy. My wife weighs like $105, and she can pull it back. So
can she shoot it accurately?
Well, we won't get into that, but
the women always shoot better than men anyway. I know about that.
Yeah, she's pretty
Victory
accurate.
for you, not sleeping on the couch tonight.
I'll probably sleep on the couch anyhow, but yeah. So no, I mean, my wife is a small woman, and she can pull it back and shoot it with pretty decent accuracy. So
okay, So what are you using? You using medical rubber in between the?
Yeah, I'm using some TheraBand tubing,
and that's the
which
medical
is a
stuff,
standard leather pouch right now.
Hey, I can give you an idea of what he's talking about as far as power. I used to do diving, and I shot grouper, and I used the same kind of setup he's talking about, only it was in a spear gun. It was surgical tubing, and it was two bands of surgical tubing shooting a stainless steel shaft that was like 32 inches long. So that's a heavy thing.
Through the water, right?
That thing would go through a grouper like he was a paper cup.
Oh yeah. I mean, your small game is not going to stand up to the sling bow.
What about those two-legged varmints?
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you've got a nice broadhead on there, and you're at a reasonable range, no, it's going to cut through them like a piece of paper.
So, define a reasonable range for me, please. What is that, like 20 yards, something like that?
Well, I mean, I would assume that if it was a 20-yard instance, you wouldn't need something like this. I would say, I mean, could you? Yes. Would it be an optimal weapon at that range? Probably not.
Yeah, at 20 yards.
No, but, I mean, you could do it in 20 yards. You could probably do it in 25 if you had the practice. because this isn't something anybody can just pick up and is going to be able to shoot it dead on. I mean, just like a regular bow, your traditional compound bow, you're not just going to pick the thing up and be able to hit dead on. It doesn't work like that.
That's right. Everything requires practice.
But it does have an ease of use. It does have an ease of use. You've been able to, and you used a small child as an example of that. He was attaining 50% accuracy in little time.
Yeah, he was. We were shooting,
and that was at a decent distance.
Yeah, probably 15 to 20 yards. And he hit about, I mean, this target is a target I used for my 223, and, full of holes, but it's probably 2x2. We put it on the ground and, let him shoot at it, and he was hitting it about, I want to say he shot it about 6-7 times and hit it probably 3 times. So, yeah, I mean, it's not something that's going to take an excessive amount of use.
It's not an impossible skill to acquire.
Oh, by no means, no.
That's great. Now, this fits easily in a pack or a pocket, as I recall, right?
Oh, yeah.
What does it weigh, your slingshot?
Oh, my slingshot? Man, I couldn't imagine it weighs more than... I would say 2 pounds, if that. It's super light. The handle's polymer. The arm... The rest and the actual arms of the slingshot are made out of cold rolled steel. I couldn't imagine it weighs more than 2 or 3 pounds.
So is this thing like a sort of like a wrist rocket type?
Oh, it's totally
slingshot
designed off of a wrist rocket.
Oh, okay. Yep. That speaks volumes. So yeah, you can get some good velocity off that thing, I would imagine. Depends on what you use. Did you tell me your
right arm, right hands will mess things up? That's a real weapon.
Oh, and see, the thing about my design is, now I'm not the only one who's ever made a sling bow, and I don't try and pretend I am. My design is unique for the simple fact that if I want to shoot arrows, I can shoot arrows. If I want to take 5 seconds to remove my whisker biscuit and shoot steel ball bearings, I can do it.
That's the way I learned.
Well, that changes the game. That changes the game significantly. Yeah, it's also got a hollow handle, so you could pack it like a Rambo knife.
Oh yeah. Well, I intend on once I get everything up and really going. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you designed anything to carry? Do you have anything to carry your arrows in, like something you put on a belt buckle or something?
I can't even pretend to lie. I mean, there's just so many easy methods out there already. Me personally, I have my own leather one. I got handmade, 4 arrows. But yeah, I mean, you can go to any academy or any Cabela's or any of these Bass Pro Shops that, that carry that kind of stuff, and they make them. I mean, it's not something that would benefit me to try and make. It's expensive to make, and these guys have that market on lock. So
I got you.
Okay, so you're solely just
you've got this design.
Go ahead, Michael.
You've got this design that you're using a full-sized arrow. Can you also use it? And you, as you said, you can also use a ball bearing. Can you use a shorter arrow like a crossbow?
Like a crossbow bolt? Well, you could. I wouldn't recommend it because what it really boils down to is the more stretch you get out of the bands, obviously, the more force forward. So the design I made was to make the arms on the slingshot so much larger that when you pulled back the bands, you got about as much as you're ever going to get out of a slingshot band, regardless of the weight.
So how wide are the arms for the surgical tubing?
Well, there's about a 2-inch gap in between the arms, and each arms are over 8 inches long.
Oh, okay. So.
Hey, Jason, do you have a website?
I'm working on that right now. This is still really in the early baby stages. Yeah. I'm still. I actually just sold one of my very first models today. I got a lot of people interested. Unfortunately, people don't want to pay for something like this unless they're really into it. and I'm still reaching out. You know, I'm still trying to touch base with a lot of places that are into that kind of stuff. Joining a lot of forums. You know, adding a lot of people on Facebook, trying to get it out there. I've got a lot of people interested. Just people don't understand that the cost that goes into these things makes them as expensive as they are.
Give us your Facebook account there. People might want to like you.
Right now, it's just Jason Warwas, JASONWARWAS. But here in the very, very distant future, it will be South Texas Sling Bows. You know, just like I said, we're still real early in this. It's mostly me and my wife and my son. Actually, believe it or not, my 6-year-old son helps me out a lot. You know, he's a trooper. He helps me get everything ready and gets everything together.
Oh, that's cool. What's his name?
Justin. I did it just to screw with my dad because we're all J's in our family.
Oh, okay.
Justin, that's a good name.
That'll work.
Yeah, he's my old man.
Jason, this is part of the reason why we had you. This is part of the reason why we had you. You believe in the same things that we do. The strong family, the preparing for yourself, the right to firearms, and the taking care of yourself. And thank you for coming on with us. I mean,
you guys don't have to thank me.
I think it's the greatest. I think it's the coolest product I've seen in a long time. And I mean, the versatility and utility of it is just unrivaled. And I think once you start getting it out there, I mean, we're gonna plug the hell out of it. I think it's
cool. You know, like I said,
those things will kill more than just a rabbit too, for sure.
Oh, definitely, no doubt. I've shot into deer targets. Unfortunately, in Texas, you cannot hunt deer with a sling bow. I've done my research. I've contacted Texas Park and Wildlife Department. Right now, as far as a land mammal, the only thing you're going to be able to hunt with a sling bow is a hog.
Well, you can tall order there with a sling bow, isn't it? A hog?
Well, no, not necessarily. You know, you get your practice down. Yeah, it's really all about placement. I mean, it's just like with a bow. You know, I'll be honest with you. I just recently got into bows in general. You know, I've done some bow fishing in my time, but as far as hunting, you know, land mammals with a bow is something really new to me. I got a couple of really good buddies who are, you know, really into hog hunting, or bow hunting, rather. I have another buddy of mine who almost went to the Olympics for archery. So I've got some really good teachers. Yeah, so, you know, I'm just trying to learn the ins and outs of archery in general. Okay, this sling bow is like kind of my real step at hunting animals, not fish, you know, but animals like mammals and getting it done. You know, just getting them.
So you're a hunter and fisherman, just like most of us here, I guess.
I grew up in the backwoods, and I grew up fishing at the coast, and you know, we used to have a cabin out in the middle of the water that was on stilts. I mean, literally, no land, all water. You know, one of the greatest memories of my life.
This is usable for on the water for fishing. I'm sure it would be, as everything fun in Texas is, it probably is as legal as all hell to get the flatfish with this thing.
Well, yeah. From what I was explained to by Texas Park and Wildlife, you can't hunt game fish with it, which is the same with regular bow hunting. You can't bow fish any game fish, but gar, tilapia, stuff like that. Mostly freshwater fish. There's really not a lot of saltwater fish in Texas that you can bow fish for. Period. Even with a regular standard bow.
Well, you can't spearfish with a game fish either.
Well, now that's not true, because you can gig a flounder, and that's about as
flounder. But I'm talking about like snook and tarpon and things like that.
Oh God, no! Hell no! We'd all end up
right. That's and bass. You can't shoot a bass with a spear gun.
Really?
You can shoot a brent. No, catfish and junk like that. They shoot. They shoot those big gars. They shoot them all the time, and those things get huge.
Oh yeah, I've seen as big as 6 and 7 feet long gar.
I've seen those in.
I'll tell you what, gar. If people, well, can we explain to people what gar fish are? Because people really, I didn't know what they were until I got to this area.
Alligator gar, man. Plain and simple. They call them alligator gar because they're really long mouths, chock full of very small, sharp teeth.
Yes.
Their body's basically made out of chainmail armor. They're
historic.
Yes, that's exactly. You could not find a better word for an alligator gar. Prehistoric.
They're hard to catch. Also, they don't bite a lot of.
No, and I'm going to tell you fellas a secret that I don't tell a lot of people on how to catch an alligator gar on a rod and reel. You take a piece of nylon rope and you tie it in a knot with a little bit of string hanging out the end, and you take every bit of that string and you fray it as far as it can be frayed, and you run that across the top of that water until them gars will bite it. You don't try and set the hook. No hook involved. You let them chew on that nylon rope, and what it does is it actually gets caught in their teeth because their teeth are like saw blades.
And you reel them in and catch their ass.
That's a great idea.
That's it. You sure do.
I never thought about that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've had experience. I've had a little bit of experience with them when I first moved down here. I actually put a 760 as it was running on top of the water. And I'm not bragging about my marksmanship or anything. I'm just amazed that that when I did hit it, it split it in half, but the back strap was intact and it was still moving. It continued to move for about 4 hours afterwards because we picked it up and threw it in the bucket. But it was still alive for about 4 hours afterwards, and it was alive after we put the nail in its head, because you have to nail it to we just nailed it to the deck and went to skinning it.
Hey,
and,
Michael, it was dead, but what you see is nerves, and those damn nerves, just like you kill a gator, you can kill an alligator, and 3 or 4 hours later, if you think you're going to throw that thing up on a thing and just skin it, it's going to take 2 guys to hold it down.
I think this is possibly a little bit more than nerves, because I'm not joking. Like 2 hours later, it was taking off. Because we got an entire bucket full of them, and this one was taking off. Like it was making I'm out of here. These guys already shot me once. Like it was going. It was taking off out of the yard. It was pretty amazing.
That's pretty wild. So Jason, this blunt head arrow would go into an alligator, correct? You could actually kill one of those suckers with that thing, I would imagine.
Well, no. In Texas, you can't hunt alligators with a bow. Unfortunately, now a gar, yeah, we've hit a couple of gar.
Okay.
Yeah, we've hit some gar with it. I don't know that I'd be willing to go after a gator. Now, this is coming from a man who's caught an alligator with his bare hands, and I'm still not 100% sure I'd try and bow fish, even with a regular standard bow, an alligator.
Wait a minute. You call an alligator by your bare hands?
Yeah, he wasn't that big. He was about, about 3 foot.
That's big enough. That's got a pretty big mouth on him, Donnie.
And anybody,
if I'm not mistaken, Howell's caught an alligator with his hands as well, right?
Actually, what we did is we used a rope and put it around his neck and drug him up on the shore, and then held the rope. One of us jumped on his back, taped his mouth shut, and then what do we do now? We take the rope off. We took the rope off that thing, and it you would think it'd just haul butt. Took the rope off his neck, got off of him. This thing slid back down into the water, went out about 3 foot, then swam back up and laid his head down on the bank. I said, "Do you think somebody's been feeding this thing?" He was waiting on us to feed him after setting on his back. That was a mind boggler.
The problem with what
my
you did
God, maybe I should take him home.
Well, the problem is that you taped his mouth shut, and they can't do anything. So, and they know that.
No.
If they can't open their mouths,
we took the tape off. We didn't put him back in the water with his mouth taped shut. I mean, my God.
Making sure.
Oh, that sounded horrible, didn't it? I'm so sorry. No. Tape, come off.
How cruel are you, Hal? Now, come on.
No, Hal's not cruel at all, but if I was cruel, I'll tell you what, there are people I think I could do that to.
I agree with you. There's a couple of cops I could do that to, actually.
Well, I was thinking child molesters, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, if I did that to every child molester I see, I would never get anything done.
Hell no, but you know what? That's what they make trees and chains for. You just take them out and chain them up, and that's a done deal.
Well, and let me reiterate on my little alligator story. We were actually fishing out of kayaks in a backwater little lake. Had an alligator chasing my lure, and he got close enough to the boat, so I really just reached down in the water and snatched him up by his snout and picked him up. And my buddy didn't even know.
You kept his mouth closed so he couldn't open it up?
Yeah, they can't open their mouth.
Just grabbed him. They have very little muscles to actually open their mouth. It's the closing you got to worry about.
Yeah,
but
no other radio show brings you two guys that wrestle alligators. No other radio show.
Come on, I didn't.
And especially no other firearms radio show brings you two guys that wrestle alligators.
That is funny.
He was talking about how he grew up. I grew up out in the middle of the woods in a cracker house, and my mom cooked everything on a wood stove. We were definitely country. Everything we grew everything ourselves, and I didn't see hot and cold running water in some place that I lived until I joined the Navy.
Well, I'm not 86, so
I'm not 86 either, but I am 65.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No, I spent a lot of time at the coast, a lot of time in the woods, and me and my brothers my father got a new place when I guess I was about about 10 or 11. We had a little creek in the back, and my middle brother, he's only 2 years younger than me. My baby brother's like 10 years younger than me. So, we did a lot of running around, and still to this day, my little brother will run around in our pasture barefooted. He's 22 years old now, and he still walks around. I mean, we got Wasatch and bull nettle and any number of things. And it just, I don't know. I don't know if it's that native in us coming out or what it is, but we get. I
don't even like to walk across sawgrass barefoot.
Oh
dude.
Man, I don't. If I'm not at work, I hardly ever wear anything other than my Crocs, and then even then, if I don't have to, I don't wear them.
I will second the vote for Crocs. I will second the vote for Crocs. I am currently wearing a pair myself. So shout out to the Crocs Corporation. Please make your prices cheaper at Academy. There's no reason I should be paying $35 for rubber shoes at Academy.
But here's the thing, man. I'll tell you this, and I mean this God honest. For the longest time, I had a lot of feet problems because I worked on concrete just about my whole life. I mean, most of my jobs, I was walking on concrete. And I had foot problems bad until I started wearing Crocs. And I used to, Jack with both my brothers used to wear them. And I used to fuck with them so hard. Oh, those are so stupid and this and that.
They are ugly duck foot looking shoes. Yes, they are.
You know what?
They don't win any kind of fashion contests.
No, but they have helped me with my feet problems so much. It's ridiculous. I used to wake up.
I like them because they have holes in them, and you can walk through mud, and you're not squishy foot all day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's wet down, so they work out well. Now, if you're one of the kind of people who wear socks with Crocs and it doesn't snow where you live, we're gonna have a.
Okay, Michael, from Crocs to 22 long rifle ammo. How's that for a transition?
All right, Dan, there was good. That'll work.
How's it in your area?
I think
Let's come back here.
It's in the stores. Probably, I would say more than 60% of the time, it's in the stores. Whether there's still the limit at Academy, but Walmart has taken their 3-box limit down.
Yes,
I would say that.
I just went and picked up some myself. They have removed the ban, thank goodness.
So you can buy all the boxes you want or value packs you want at Walmart. Is that correct? That's not so around Tennessee right now, but
yeah, they've removed it here, and I have noticed that the prices they're up a little bit from pre-panic prices. I would say they're up about 10 to 15%, but it's not an outrageous jump. Now, in the private market, it's 3 times the normal price, 3 to 4 times the normal price. I did a gun show over the weekend, and once again, I saw the bucket of bullets, which is going to be, I guess, the measuring stick that we use. The 1,400 rounds of Remington Golden bullet was selling for $219, and we figured that came out to what, 15 and a half?
Almost 16 cents a round. Yeah, that's correct. So if you can find it for 10 cents a round, buy. That's what I say.
Well, I'm actually going to even discourage people that, because it's coming back in the stores, and we're seeing the bucket of bullet retails at our big box down in my area, which is Academy. It's also in Jason's area is Academy. The bucket of bullets sells for $68. That's like less than a nickel. That's 4.8 cents a round.
That's the right price, right?
And that's what it should be. And if you're paying anything other than that, I think you're wasting money. I'm not going to call you a sucker, because people have every kind of need for whatever they have a need for, and to pay whatever price they can.
They're suckers, Mike.
Price is coming back. Well, I wouldn't call them suckers. I'd call them people that didn't plan well in the past, and maybe now see a current need. Now, if you are just willy-nilly buying the other horrible deal I saw was the package of CCI Stingers, my absolute favorites. Those were $27 for a box of them. If you're that kind of guy, you're a goober.
27.
I understand
27 cents a round for Stingers? Are you shitting me?
Yeah. No, absolutely not. It cost more than 7.62 by 39. Yeah. Wow. So I mean, I see it in both ways. I see somebody who gets something and they have none, because there are people who don't have, but a box of 50 at home. They have a 1022 and a box of 50 because that's what it came with, and now they would like to have some. So I understand the panic buying from them, and I also understand the guy who just wants to buy the ammo because he can. I mean, that's the kind of the interesting thing about the firearms world. I think is it takes all kinds. We've got,
but Mike, what
guys like me, I like the value shopping.
You know what the problem with those guys are is that they raise the price for people who know what the ammo should cost. Because as long as those places like Academy or any of these people are selling it at that price and people are buying it, it's not ever going to go down.
That's correct. Supply and demand.
Well, I don't think Academy has really raised their price on much. I really think their prices are pretty static compared to, or I think they're up a little bit, but there was also a great demand. They're not gouging like the guy at the gun show who's selling it for 4 times its 3 and 4 times its price.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of gun shows, Michael, you went to another gun show this weekend. Tell me about it, please.
I did. Okay, it was a fairly decent sized gun show. I'd say there was 400 tables. I do know that on the first day, it was a Saturday and Sunday from 9 in the morning on Saturday till 5, and Sunday was 10 till 4. And I know on Saturday, 500 people come in. And I'm sure it was a little bit less on Sunday. I'd say probably around maybe 17 to 2,000. A little bit later on Sunday.
400 tables. How many tables were firearms?
This one, it was. I'll give them a plug. It was Premier Gun Shows, and they had, I would say, 85% were firearms or firearms related, and there wasn't any. There was no Tupperware. There was nobody selling jewelry. There was none of the flea market stuff. The food sales were to a minimum. There was only one person who had like a snack cart. There was one beef jerky guy, and the concession was actually handled by a restaurant company called Black Eyed Pea, and it was incredibly expensive, and I didn't eat the $11 ham sandwich. I did, of course.
You could buy a pig for that much money and make your own damn ham sandwiches.
Yeah, but it's really hard to dress a pig in the middle of a gun show.
That's true.
That's only because you ain't never tried, Mike.
We always order pieces. We order pieces delivered to the gun shows. What we do.
Well, I survived on beef jerky. I would say
that works too.
This being a 400 table show in a smaller venue, made it seem like a lot more people, and I think that has a little bit to do with people's buying habits. I think more people in there makes for a little bit more of a rushed feeling.
So did you have sellers or buyers at this gun show?
Well, I'll tell you what, there was not the usual array of SKSs and AK-47s and AR-15s. There was quite a few AR-15s brought in. Everybody wanted $1,400 and up. I'm sorry,
Jesus.
Your $600 rifle is not $1,400. Nonetheless, they still showed up. No, I didn't see any change hands. Rifles on the table, AK-47s were going for $5.99 for Century-made AKs. And I did see a used Palmetto State Armory AR-15 for $429.
$429 for an AR-15? Are you serious?
On a dealer's table, it was used. Once again, there was the normal acres and acres of every polymer, Taurus, Ruger, and SIG out there. I did notice something kind of cool. Dan, you're a fan of the SIG 938. And
yes.
As Prepper Chicks and Prepper Hubby, they're fans of the SIG 938.
I like those. That's a nice weapon, Michael. It really is. 9mm.
Well, they've got two new versions of it. Aside from their many, different colors and finishes, they've got a long slide version of it, and so 938 long or long slide, and then there's also a 938.
Whoa, Jason.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
I'm hearing some interference there. Excuse me. What were you saying, Michael?
Hello?
Hey, Michael, are you there?
Hey, you there?
Yeah, what were you saying about the 938-22?
There was a 10-round. It has a 10-round magazine. It's the exact same size, features, and location of controls in 20 caliber. So it's a 938-22.
So
and they
22
also
long
made
rifle.
a 938 That's right, 22 long rifle, same size package as the 9mm. And they also had a long slide version to complement the 938 long slide. Now, I don't understand the concept behind a long slide in a 938. Do you?
No, that's a secondary weapon. I'm sure Prepper Chick and Eddie will tell you that's their second go-to weapon.
I mean, it wasn't. It was the exact same size grip as a regular 938, but it had like a 5-inch barrel on it, and I just didn't. I didn't see.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really kind of odd.
That sounds odd.
It was priced at $589, if I remember correctly, and the 22 version was $529.
Okay, so a pretty decent price, not too bad, but it's still kind of upper end for a 22.
Yeah, that's far out of my price range for mouse guns. That's not what I'd shoot.
I saw something today that was this is off topic a little bit, but I saw something today that was very interesting to me, and what it was is the difference between a NATO 5.56 and a regular Remington 223. Externally, the dimensions of the bullet are identical, but when you go from one to the other, they're not identical, and what makes them not identical is the way that they're loaded. And what makes the real difference is the way the chamber's set up on the 223 Remington or the NATO round.
5.56 NATO, correct?
The NATO round. If you was going to buy a 223 and you bought it to shoot 223 NATO rounds in it, you could shoot the 223 Remington with no problem. What the difference is a little bit of clearance in the chamber area. And there was an article on Blacklisted News that this guy, I mean, it was extensive. It was a long article, and he had the dimensions of the the chamber specifications for both, and the bullets are identical, but the way the chamber is made is not identical. And if you shot the 223 Remingtons in a NATO chamber, you never have a problem. But there was a possibility of having a problem because the Remington was tighter. What it was is they were clearanced a little bit better. But it was I read a lot of articles on stuff like that. This was something that really I said, look at this, man. Somebody really went into depth on what was going on with this. It was the best one I've ever seen. So if you guys want to check it out, it'd be well worth your time. I'm gonna print it. I print this stuff out and keep a booklet on it.
Can you post a link in the chat room for us, Cracker?
Say it again.
Post a link in the chat room for us. Can you do that?
I don't have it right here on this computer. It's on my other computer. But you can go to Blacklisted News. I don't know if it was Blacklisted News or From the Trenches, but maybe it was From the Trenches. From the Trenches. If you go From the Trenches, and just you'll see it. It's a huge article.
Oh,
I mean, it'll take up probably 10 pages of print. This guy really covered it good. But I heard that's like the difference between the NATO 308 and a Remington a Winchester 308. Both of them will shoot, but the chamber's a little bit different. And this guy went into what the difference in the chambers was. And the only reason I broke in and said this is there's so many people out there with 223s. If I was ever going to get me a 223, I don't have a 223. I'm an AK-47 guy. But if I was going to get me a 223, you can bet your bippy it would be with the NATO chamber in it.
Yeah, 5.56.
If I can shoot anything, you shoot anything with that one.
Yeah, if I can interject myself, that's exactly what I use. Is my AR is chambered for 5.56. I've shot 5.56. I've shot 223. Anybody who's going to buy an AR these days, if you don't buy one chambered for 5.56, you're wasting your money.
You're making a mistake.
I agree.
I'm really thinking the only ones that are chambered in 223 anymore are usually polymer lowered AR-15s.
Well, now the lower makes no difference. It's the upper.
It's the chamber.
The upper is the only thing that matters.
Chamber. The chamber and the barrel is what the difference is.
Because
it still exerts some force on the lower.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but it is the upper. The Colts are all marked 5.56, which means you can shoot it either round in them.
Yeah, when the Colts first come out, too, they got a lot of people killed because they were pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Well, when they first came out, but we're talking about.
I hate to be sitting there cleaning up my AR when an AK comes up and blows my head off.
I agree.
Well, now
that's not the plan for the afternoon.
You're not going to get an argument from me out of that. I can tell you that.
People can talk all the mess they want to about our ARs. Okay, I'm an AR guy. My brother's an AK guy. We've had this.
I'm talking about when they first come out with the Colt ARs, they stuck a lot of times, and that was what the problem was. They've got it ironed out now, man. They're like a Cadillac. But still, if I was going to buy one, I would get one the 5.56 chamber.
Oh, definitely. Right. But they make piston-driven ARs now that are just as effective as your AK-47 as far as you can throw them in the dirt. You can do, because that's, let's be all serious here. The argument for an AK is that you can do anything to the gun, and it's still going to fire its rounds.
It also shoots a 127 grain bullet.
And that's true.
It's got more knockdown than a 223 does.
You're right. That's a good part of the reason why we lost the Vietnam War. Because we were shooting ARs, they were shooting AK-47s. We're hiding behind trees. Well, guess what? An AK-47 will shoot a fucking tree.
Just cut the tree in half. No problem. Yeah.
I do like my AK, yes. I like my AR too now.
I'm a 30 caliber guy, man. I'll tell you what, I love my 22s and stuff, but when it comes down to where the shit hits a fan, this is going to be a 30 caliber launcher here.
Now, I want to talk just a minute about the Tampa cops breaking into a car down there.
No, Dan. This is all constitutional. See, it's okay when the cops come in and bust into your car. and tear it apart and rip it apart looking for drugs and shit. And then if they don't find anything, it's completely constitutional for them to just leave you a little spiral binder note inside your car saying, hey, dude, we're so sorry that this happened. We looked at your car. We thought our dog thought you had dope inside. We walked by. We smelled something. So we tore your car apart. But we didn't find anything, so you have a nice day.
So they set the dog off for a false positive, so to speak. And
my guess is there wasn't even a dog there. That was just something that they said. And
where does this happen in Tampa?
This is Ybor City. I tell you guys, I live in a police station down here, and I don't know if you believe it or not, but they have the training sessions here where they have the helicopters flying over and the guys rappelling down and all that other bullshit to show all the people what the special forces look like in the middle of your city. We've had several of those situations right here. The place that they did this, they went by, the dog supposedly went off on this guy's car, which happened to be like $150,000 vehicle. They tore it apart looking for drugs and shit, found nothing, and left him a note in there, and then had the balls to say what they did was constitutional, and that, sorry about that, you can have a nice day. Well, this guy had enough money, he's got him an attorney, and these pricks are going to wind up paying. You can bet on that. But, the prick that's going to wind up paying is going to be us.
Well, I'll tell you right now, the last time I checked, illegal search and seizure is against the law. Period.
Oh, but you're talking about against the law for us. You need to understand. No. You need to understand that there's a whole different set of laws for them.
That's not true, and that's what problem is. People take that shit to that. They say, oh, well, they're the cops, they can do that. That's not true. That's a constitutional thing.
Listen, I'm on here railing about this. I'm on here railing about this all the time. Believe me, I know it's not true. But I also know that you get to a big city and you go down and they own City Hall, it might as well be true. I mean, if you live in some little podunk place in the backwoods, that's one thing. But if you live in a big city, let me tell you what. The people who run the big city, they run the big city. And they get away with anything. And if they don't, then we're the ones that wind up paying. The money, the tax dollars that these guys get. But I hope this guy rapes these bastards so bad till their balls are torn off and hang on a lamppost somewhere.
Now, here's the thing. Why would you do that? Because when it all boils down to it, you're going to be the one who has to pay for it.
That's okay. If my money's got to go somewhere, I want it to go in his pocket. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Jason,
I have a problem
with the fact that when a lawsuit comes against the city for something they did wrong, that us as a people are the ones paying for it.
Okay, Jason, I have a question.
Go ahead, brother.
Do we? Is there a place where we can view the sling bow you have? You have a picture of it?
Actually, Mike has seen some pictures of it. You can go on my Facebook and see the actual evolution of it from what it started out to as to what it is now.
Okay, give the people out there listening your Facebook account or address or whatever, so we can go look at that thing.
I want to say it's just Jason Warwis. I don't imagine there's more than one Jason Warwis on Facebook. It's not a very common name. My wife tells me that there is more than one, but it's the one in South Texas.
WARWAS. Warwis. Okay. So people listening to the show can go there and see your sling bow. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And if they have any issues, I talked to Mike earlier. If they have any issues finding it, by all means, send a message to y'all, and y'all be able to get a hold of me without a question. Because we've got
okay, yeah, no problem. So that's neat. I'm sure the prepper people will be interested in this thing also.
Oh, definitely. And in the near future, I'd like to be able to send you guys one just to play around with. Do with as you please.
I love it. I'll give you some feedback on how it operates. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I'm doing it for the working man, somebody who can afford it, as far as working on a regular schedule, working on a regular, but, what 90% of America is doing. Most of us aren't millionaires. Most of us don't have, $100,000 cars. We're driving around and we're paying off debt, and that's the way it is. And not everybody can afford to spend $160-something on a Falcon sling bow. Because there's other ones out there. Like I said before, I don't pretend for 1 second to be the only one. I'm not anywhere close to the only one. But what I am the only one at is making them affordable for people like me. People who work on a budget, who live off of a budget, who, at the end of the month, things are a little tight.
That's about most of us, Jason, I believe, at this point in time.
And I almost
guarantee exactly the reason we got you on, man.
Well, that's the thing.
Your philosophy rings with us.
And that's the thing, everybody that's listening to this show, with the exception of the NSA, by the way, hi NSA, is most likely on a budget. They're not walking around with, $120,000 a year jobs. They're probably working at $30,000 or less, like me. I don't make but barely over $30,000 a year. Now, fortunately for me, I'm in a state where $30,000 a month or a year is more than enough to make it. Do I have the luxuries of being able to spend my own hard-earned money to buy and build these things? Yeah. But do I have much more? No, because I've spent, just about every bit of little spending money I have on developing these things, and I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not even trying to make money. I'm trying to be able to make enough where if someone buys one, I can make two. And that's
you're selling for half price, basically.
Oh yeah, I'm way cheaper than anyone else I've ever seen on the internet with an effective one. Now I've
cheaper
seen
is not a good word. Now, cost effective is more.
Yeah,
more like
you can call it what you want. I'm backwoods. Cheaper is the word I learned. They can take it however they want. They don't have to buy the damn things. I'm not trying to make a living off of these things. I'm trying to give these things to people who want them at a reasonable price, and that's what it all boils down to. I could save all this money I'm spending on these sling bows and buy ammo for my guns or buy fishing equipment or whatever. But I don't. I choose to make these for people who are interested in the same kind of stuff I'm interested in.
Well, I am so glad to hear that you don't spend your money on like 27-inch tires that have like Band-Aids for rubber on them.
And no, God no. Why would I? Well, and this is now, what a lot of people don't know about Victoria, Texas, is where I'm from. This is the second most violent city in America per capita.
Really?
It is. You can look it up. The last
firearm
per capita. Oh, everywhere I go except for to work, because unfortunately I can't carry one onto the place that I work.
Wow. I would disregard that.
Well, I would too if I knew it wouldn't cost me my job, because they do check vehicles and they walk around and.
That's a shame. It really is.
Well, you know what? I work for the state, and that's just how it works.
Michael, I'd like to go over just the 4 rules of gun safety for these people listening right now, because we got to get that in every week.
Absolutely, Dan. Well, I'd say, Dan, as usual, the very first rule of gun safety is every firearm is loaded until you visually and physically inspect the chamber. If it's a semi-automatic, drop out the magazine, rack back the slide, take a look into the chamber. Is there a bullet there? No. If it's a revolver, pop open the cylinder, spin the cylinder if it's a single-action revolver. If it's a shotgun, break it open, bump that action, make sure there's no bullet in the chamber.
Exactly, and then the second rule, of course, is to know what your target is, where it's at, and not to. You need
what's
to
behind
know
your target.
What's behind your target? Exactly.
Can I interject real quick? One of the ones, and I hope this is not the next one you're getting to, but never put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to fire.
That's our favorite.
I love it.
That's our favorite one. Michael has a different way of saying that. What do you say, Michael, usually?
Well, you never want to muzzle sweep anyone, so be aware of the direction that gun's pointing. And Jason, I have to agree with you. You have to keep your booger hook off the bang switch.
Booger hook
That's
off
right.
the bang
Booger
switch.
hook off the bang switch.
There are no accidental discharges. They are all negligent discharges. And in
That's
today's
right.
society and the culture of today and the culture of right now, this very second, we don't need any help with having our rights infringed upon. And we don't need any help become a quotable statistic. So do your part, Mr. and Mrs. America. Keep that booger hook off the bang switch. Ride it along the side of the lane. Oh, Dan, at the gun show this weekend, I have to say easily 90% of the people, when they came to my table, if they picked up something on my table, the finger went immediately to the trigger. I mean, without fail. Without fail.
It was really amazing. Yeah. And if just one person realizes this, listen to this broadcast, and when they're out shooting firearms, recognizes someone's doing something improper, speak up. It's ridiculous.
It's all of our responsibility at this point. I mean, our rights are under assault left and right. I mean, Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer are teaming up again to start more legislation. So
I'd like to fight those two women to the death with nothing but a pair of chopsticks.
And wouldn't that be neat? I'd like to use ice pick.
No, I'm going straight chopsticks. That's all I'm going with. Chopsticks. Me, Dianne Feinstein, and that other broad, butt naked, oiled up, ready to go. Just in a pool of Jello.
Frankenfeinstein.
I was going to say peanut butter. I wanted to move slow.
How about cream corn? How's cream corn sound?
You can do that. I like cream corn.
I'll do some cream corn. I'm telling you, I'm challenging you, Dianne Feinstein, because I know you're listening.
They wouldn't be fit to eat. It'd be, you couldn't eat that. You'd have to. Pigs
Oh
won't
God,
eat that.
no. And that's that's waste. That's waste. The cream corn. That's
GMO legislation as usual, but yeah, they've got another bill out right now, and basically it says that somebody feels threatened by, they can call for basically a protective order and remove your gun. So it's like a restraining order for your firearms, and there has to be no proof of this. It's just on their word, and it's they're pushing it through. It's already got 13 sponsors, and the bad part of this bill coming through is the lack of proof that it requires. Currently, say somebody who's got the Moms Demand Action Group is feeling threatened. They go to the local. They can go to the gun store, the range, and view the logbook of people who've signed in. Take those names down and go down to the courthouse and say, I need these people to have their guns taken away because I feel afraid. I feel in fear for my safety, whatever. And if this passes, they have to come and take them. So, be vigilant and don't give them any kind of ammo to help them in this fight. So be safe with your firearms. Be safe with other people's firearms. Help other people be safe with firearms. Hey, we're getting to the end. I got to give a couple of shout outs real quick. I'd like to give a shout out to my brother Nick. Nick, stay safe. I'm waiting for you to come home. I'd also like to say thank you to Jules and UCY. This is a great platform, and I really appreciate the chance to get out and say what I got to say.
Well, if it'd be all right,
Jason, if you got a couple people?
Yeah, man. My guys at Union Armor for supplying me with some badass shirts. Check them out online, unionarmor.com. My buddies who are listening right now, Dustin, Philip, all you tools for spamming my Facebook page with troll shit. And you guys really and truly for bringing me on and letting me get my product out there and giving me an opportunity to just get it out there to people that obviously I haven't gotten it out there to before. So
we're going to have you back on, man. We're going to have you back on. This is an awesome little idea. I love it. Powell, you got anybody to yell at out there?
Nope, not at all.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Liza Jean because Liza Jean has realized the importance of being safe with firearms and the importance of firearms. Her being a Canadian, I think that's awesome. I'd like to give a shout out to Jules also and Nick, of course, Nick and the guys over there.
Oh,